You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
I am Evan Closky.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays, as well as all of our social medias, X and Instagram. And email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, Evan, Ulises, we have some Rays news, but it's not good news. It's not cheery news. Taylor Walls is questionable for opening day following hip surgery. So another dilemma within the recipe of the shortstop position with the whole Wander mess, and now Taylor Walls' health. The Rays have some work for them this offseason, I guess.
Yeah, and it does seem like Taylor will be taking a part in spring training activities. How much he does, we'll see. I think I saw somewhere Kevin Cash will probably know by maybe the beginning of December where they're sitting with him. It seems like he might jump out on the IL to start the season, but maybe he's back like mid-April, end of April sort of deal. So there's a chance that the Rays might say he's going to be okay and we can go internally to fill 20 some odd games if they don't want to just get a better shortstop, period. Because you have to go through this offseason not accounting that Wander's going to be back. So
that was my question. Is this assuming that Wander doesn't come back? Then this is how you would go about it?
I think you have to attack the offseason as if Wander was not coming back, unless they know something we don't, right. Which is very possible because they should know everything. But let's say that they don't really have an answer of when this is going to come to fruition. They have to prepare for the season without Wander. And if he does come back, great, good problem to have, because you just slide him into short, and then whatever addition you had, you have to probably get someone who is able to play shortstop and then also move to other positions. The Rays really could use a super utility guy.
So another Taylor Walls, basically.
Isn't that
because Taylor Walls doesn't play the outfield. I'm talking about everywhere.
So a Vidal Brujan.
A productive.
What Brujan, what they thought Brujan was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, boys, so you're talking about, this guy isn't like, oh my gosh, we love to have this guy, but he would fit the qualifications you're asking for. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Is that what you're talking about? That's the only guy I can think about that can do all that.
Something like that, yeah. And I understand he's not a sexy name. Go talk to any Yankees fans about IKF. It doesn't have much power, but he is someone who can play everywhere, including catcher, if need be. And he wouldn't become a waste per se if Wander does come back, right? Let's say you look at the shortstop market; it's not very strong. So let's say Ahmed Rosario, Paul DeJong, whatever. Those guys are stuck there for the most part. Like maybe you can move in the third. I don't know if you move in any of them the second. Really, maybe you can't. But in the end, that's really been their positions. So Wander comes back, they're just relegated to a backup role. You made a signing that they're just insurance instead of making a signing of where they can fill in and play in a multitude of different ways that still helps the team, which is how we know the Rays like to do things, is that they don't want, it's why they were willing to part with a guy like a Nathaniel Lowe, why they were willing to part with a guy named Kyle Manzardo. It just guys who can do less in the field. They're not valued as highly, not to say that they haven't held on to Harold Ramirez the past couple of years, but there's only so many of those guys you can keep on a roster, and that number has to be very, very low. So that's, to me, I think the way that I would attack this, because you need time to bridge the gap for probably Carson Williams to come up. And while I know the glove is certainly excites me and probably ready, the bat is far from it. He's a very exciting player, but the K rate is way too high, and he's got to go through his steps. Love him as a future prospect. I think, he'll be a nice impact player in this whole mechanism at some point, but I don't think he's a realistic option for next season. I know people say Junior Caminero plays short. My guess is he's going to start the year in AAA, and I don't think he's a shortstop at the next level, and I don't think you want to screw with a guy like Caminero to try to put him into a spot that's not 100% comfortable, and then have him face some failures in the field that are going to affect his bat, maybe. So there's a reason why.
Isn't that what AAA is about? To get these kind of aversions to the player so that they're able to, overcome them and be better prepared for MLB?
Well, Caminero has to play there first. So even if you
so if he starts next year at AAA,
you can try that. Here's my thing. First off, I watched Caminero when he came up and watched him in batting practice, fielding practice. Didn't look great, in my opinion. Now, that's not to say that maybe it was just coming up jitters and all that stuff, but
it could very well be that. You're talking about a guy who had a handful of major league games under his belt. It is a different. It's humans.
20 years old, 20. Well, he can't even drink.
And I agree with you, right? But the whole point is, can he fill into the role next year? And that's my thing is that maybe he can mature into that role when he has some experience, but you have to set him up for success. And I don't think putting him at shortstop does that. Yeah. So I think there's a reason why at the minor league level, they moved him from shortstop to third base. Okay. I think there's a reason behind that. And
couldn't you say that the reason behind that was because they thought they had a shortstop, Gold Glover, 6 WAR player locked in there for the next 8 to 10 years?
Sure. But I'll tell you this, they can continually ride him out playing shortstop. It's easy peasy to move on over to third. Moving from short to third is a piece of cake. Moving from third to short is a different bag of beans. So,
sure. And maybe they saw it where it was like, not everybody can be pigeonholed, square peg, round hold into a shortstop. Sometimes you either are or you aren't. And maybe Caminero is that guy of, no, he's a corner infielder. That's what he is. You can't try to force it.
And that's my thing, right? Like, they didn't move Carson Williams to third base because he's got an elite glove, and they want to put him there. They have drafted a lot of shortstops and they middle infield, and that's where they're going to keep them. And it's me reading the tea leaves is that if they really moved him over in the minors to third, my guess is that's probably where they project him. Because if they wanted to work on that stuff, and not like he's never played shortstop, but like if they wanted him to work on those things, they would bounce him around. And my guess is with a prospect like that, they want him to feel as comfortable at whatever they project him to be. So yeah.
My point is,
I would bit differently than others.
I would put him, and I know we're really hurting for a shortstop now, evidently. I would try to foster Caminero wherever that bat can play and wherever he will be most comfortable in the field so he can do what he needs to do at the plate. I think that bat is too special, too elite to try to mess with that, where if he is having to focus on, mastering shortstop or whatever it is.
I feel like all I heard last year was Walls should play shortstop. Let's move Wander to third. Oh my God, I just need Walls to play shortstop. Then the year passes, and then we got Wander playing all-star level Gold Glove caliber shortstop, and he was 22 this year. All I'm saying is this kid is 20. He actually has played 3 games in the Dominican Republic this winter. I hope, this is my hope, I hope they give him the chance to play some shortstop. 20 years old. Let's see what you have. Hey, after 6 months of trying this out, it didn't. You're still you're Jonathan Aranda on shortstop. Fine, okay, maybe let's move you to third.
Not quite like that, but
You're Curtis Mead at shortstop.
I'm just saying, like, you have a very athletic guy, and you have a guy, guys, right now that is so motivated after having a little bit of taste of MLB. He's athletic, and you know that the work ethic's going to follow him. So just give him the chance.
He's a big dude. Even A-Rod moved over to third base.
But A-Rod moved after playing shortstop, 8 years?
But he was also very skinny. And then
before the steroids kicked in, A-Rod was 6'3" and 180 pounds.
O'Neal Cruz is playing shortstop, and he is bigger and taller and skinnier than
he is lanky. And he's also got he throws 100 miles per hour from short, so he's able to make up. My point is,
we're looking at the bell curve. O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz's aren't growing on trees.
I'm saying is, if O'Neal Cruz can do it, I don't think you can be. Hey, Junior Caminero is too tall for this position.
I'm telling you, I know everybody wants him to play there, and if they felt like it was comfortable enough to play there at short, he would be more of an option. I don't think at this moment he is ready. And he will have opportunities in spring training to dance over there and prove that narrative wrong. I don't know if we'll see it in a spring training game, but they'll dance him around. They'll see what he's got. And the fact is he still needs to reprove himself at AAA level and prove that he can kind of dominate that pitching and prove that this past year wasn't a fluke. I don't want to say that he's going to stink next year. That's not my point. My point is he was a top 100 prospect who catapulted to top 5 in one season. So, is he that dude? Or was this the best prospect year we're going to see out of him? And he's really kind of that top 50, 100 dude. So again, very good. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's the difference between he shows up in AAA, smashes it, has to come up at the end of April, or is it we're going to wait till the middle of the season and bring him up? So that's kind of where I'm at. And we won't really know until we see all that unfold. But again, I would caution everybody to just say Caminero shortstop. I personally don't see it happening next year.
We have more to discuss on this, but first we have to tell you this. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right this moment. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and beyond. So visit FanDuel.com/lockdown, LOCKEDON, and kick off the NFL season the right way, the only way. FanDuel, they are the official partner of the NFL. All right, Evan. So fast forward, late March, early April, whenever opening day is. I'm sure the schedule's already been released. I haven't looked at it. But who is starting opening day? Who is the opening day starter at shortstop for the Rays in 2024? Is it Paul DeJong? Is it Ahmed Rosario? Is it Ulises Basabe? Is it Junior Caminero? I mean, you already said he's going to be at AAA. Is it Isaac Paredes getting a spot start? Where do they go now?
I mean, at this point, I'm going to say it's Basabe. I'm going to say it's Basabe.
That's underwhelming. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Part of me thinks
that's like saying your opening day. Hey, here's who we have week 1 at quarterback, Kyle Trask.
I just look. My gut is I think they'll trade, but I can't give you a name. So I think that they'll.
How bad is that we are here and we don't even have. We don't know who the starting shortstop's going to be.
Well, I don't think it's how bad. I mean, you had
No, it's a bad situation. No. It's not like
it's a bad situation.
Oh, yeah,
where,
for sure.
you know,
Yes, yeah.
I
don't blame the organization.
What we should have been doing was penciling in Wander Franco as the opening day starting shortstop until 2035.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it drastically, I mean, right? Like, and Wander is a difference maker to this team. He is that superstar level, scare the crap out of you type of hitter. Who was also
Timothy. He's Timothy.
Has the potential to be. But yeah, no, the Rays are in a real tough position because now this is back-to-back seasons where realistically they've lost their shortstop. Wander was injured 2 years ago for most of the season. Then last year he missed the back half. So including all the stuff behind the scenes, which is a whole nother layer to this crap. But yeah, the Rays are in trouble because now they don't really have. I mean, Yandy Diaz is amazing, but they don't really have that like next superstar type guy coming up through the system.
They
have a lot of really good people.
They need Yandy to stay healthy for the next 2 years, so that contract is great, and then God gives 2 years for Xavier Isaac to cook in the minors, and then hopefully put up a fight for that spot. Now, I want to ask you both, what would be most surprising to you in 2024? Ulises Basabe starting at shortstop, or a trade candidate that you're like, oh yeah, I think I like his numbers in Fangraphs kind of guy at shortstop? Like, what would surprise you the most? Let's go with Kevin first.
Oh, what would surprise me the most?
Yeah,
I would say Basabe being the opening day shortstop, just based on, and I know this is going to be an ongoing topic, just based on some of the trade assets that the Rays have. I could see them acquiring a name or two. I would say, just like we have the World Series odds of the Rays or the field, I would take the field over Ulises Basabe being the opening day starter.
See, and you asked me who, so I chose Basabe. But if I can choose the field, then I choose that option. You know, I think they will make a trade. I threw it out there on Twitter, X, whatever. Personally, I think the Cardinals are a perfect match for a trade for Glasnow if he were to be dealt, since historically it's just what the Rays do. Even if they are thin at starting pitching, they tend to seek out the assets and keep the mechanism moving forward. And my name is Brendan Donovan. I mean, for Glasnow, I know it's not going to really garner a lot of opinions, but he was injured last year, back-to-back, like 2-something WAR seasons in his first years at the major league level. He won a Gold Glove for a utility player his first year in the league. He hits for average. He's kind of not as good as Harold is hitting for average, but he can fill that void of like making contact and actually like pushing people over because he can get singles and doubles. And not to mention he's not arbitration eligible until 2026. So to me, it makes so much sense to trade Glasnow for him because he's the exact piece you're looking for. A super utility guy who can play anywhere on the field, and the infield or the outfield. You can put him anywhere. And he at least gives you contact, which I think this team is missing. So is that a step down for the Rays, considering what Glasnow could be? 1,000%, because he's a Cy Young caliber arm. But if you're thinking about the long view and the fact that Donovan can also slip into any sort of role as he gets older, and you pretty much have 4 years of him before he starts making like real money, then to me it makes a lot of sense for what the Rays do moving forward. So
if you can get Donovan without trading Glasnow, I'm all about it. And I'm sure that the Rays front office could potentially come up with another package that's glass. And I just feel like I think a lot of the time we're focused on like it's like a hot potato. You gotta get rid of it so you can get the prospects so you can refill the farm system. And I feel like we have to also remember as Rays fans that you lived through the Alex Cobb contract all throughout, and then guess what? You offer him the qualifying offer, he denies it, and then somebody would say like, "Oh, they just got a pick." That pick was Shane McClanahan. So you don't need to trade your assets before. That's not the only way that you can replenish yourself. I think if you're serious, and you were there in that room when Neander and company were all like, we can run it again and we would have the flexibility. I'm going to take them at their word. I'm going to take them at their word that they can do that, because if not, then what are we doing?
I don't see, everyone makes this out to be a money thing. I think that they just look at things from a very black and white standpoint, and Tyler Glasnow is always hurt. And it's one of those things of, can we get something of value for a piece which we're not going to re-sign next year, most likely, and B, who we fear always gets hurt. So does 1 year of Tyler Glasnow make more sense than having the excess years of Brandon Donovan, when that's kind of what they've been searching? That's what they hoped Vidal Brujan could be. And so
it didn't happen.
And it's just like, to them, I think Donovan does a lot more for this team. Even like, again, he's the exact piece where if you don't have Wander, he can play short. If you need to sit your outfielder for a day, he can head out there. It's just like, as the team evolves over the next 3 to 4 years, he should always be able to slip into those plans. And I think that's kind of what they need when you're trying to like figure yourself out for the future. Are those type of dudes. So I don't want to say that they have to trade Glasnow. They don't. I just don't know if they think that the price meets what they're looking for, because they have a lot of starting pitching injuries. We all know that, right? The odds are Glasnow is going to be a part of that clump at some point next season. So to say that you believe that Glasnow is going to make it from game 1 to the playoffs, if they make it, it's a bit far-fetched, because it's never really been done in his career.
Right. So the question is, what is $25 million worth to the Rays? Is it 20 starts? Is it 25? Is it 30? I mean, what is it to them? What is $25 million to them?
But the point is, it's not about the $25 million and is that too much. The point is, can we take that $25 million off the books? Can we find someone who fulfills a role that's important to us? And then does that give us flexibility to find another one of those 1-year deal pitchers that we can bring in to kind of solidify? Or maybe they take that $25 million and they get 2 guys this time around, and they say, we're going to get 2 guys for a year and wait for our guys to kind of build themselves back up, and then do something. There's a multitude of different routes, but it's not it's thinking through things in a more like just reasonable. Does this make sense? Is this stock worth the risk? Do we want to just cash out? It's not as so simple of like, Stu doesn't want to keep the number where it is, so get rid of it. It's just, do you think that this club, as constructed, is ready to go all in and win a World Series? I have my doubts with all the injuries they already have entering the season. So.
Well, now we know that they
opening day shortstop 2024 for the Rays, Joey Wendell.
He's coming back.
He could. He's a free agent this year. He played 110 games at shortstop for the Marlins.
I don't know if Marlins fans were happy with this shortstop play.
Hey, at least he didn't have hip surgery.
Well, there's that.
So it's a quirky situation for sure. And I'll just say this as an aside for Taylor Walls. I think the Rays love them. Some Taylor Walls, and if and when he recovers from this hip issue, he's going to be in a Rays uniform for a long time to come. That's my opinion anyway. He's a free agent in 2028, I think. I would imagine he's going to be in a Rays uniform for several more seasons.
I'm actually working on not a thesis per se, but I'm working on a presentation on showing you very ugly numbers and comparing them to Taylor Wall. So that's my off-season plan, and I will show it to y'all in an episode in the future.
I will say this: I don't agree with that, Kevin. It could be true, but if he doesn't show any ability to hit the ball at the major league level this year, coming off of surgery,
it's the Carson Williams show.
I mean, eventually, it just you can't I don't care how good his glove is. Maybe he can be a backup, but I don't care how good your glove is. You gotta hit the freaking baseball. At some point, it's like Ray Ordonez stuff here, and I think Ray Ordonez at least hit for average. I mean,
yeah, he did, if I recall. I mean, he was like a 270 hitter, 265 hitter.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He, what was his?
Whoa! Hey, folks, trivia is coming up, and name
it better not be your. If that's your name, that war. Get out of here.
I need y'all to shut your baseball references down right now. Okay?
Is it Ray Ordonez cannot be your guy?
I need it to be shut down immediately.
Okay. That's a good segue, because before you get to name that war, I have a trivia question for you two jokers here. And it's a lot of these guys on this list could hit because in front of me, thank you for playing the backdrop music there.
No problem.
There are, let me count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, there are 16 individuals who have hit at least 15 grand slams. I need 5 of those 15 individuals.
So, there's 15 players who have hit 15. What was this?
Yeah, there are 15. I believe 16 is what I said. 16 total players who have hit at least 15 grand slams.
Right. Robin Ventura's one.
That would be correct. He has 18.
Manny Ramirez.
That would be correct. He has 21.
Oh, man.
No pitchers on this list.
David Ortiz, Ulises.
David Ortiz, is that your guess?
Yeah.
Strike one.
Oh, I was gonna say him. Okay, it's okay. Don't feel bad about it. I was gonna say it next anyway. Jim Thome.
Jim Thome is your guess, and that is not a good one. Strike 2. Well, it's a good guess, but he's not on the list.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yes. Alex Rodriguez, numero uno on this list with 25 of those.
Okay.
Monsters.
Okay.
You have 3 names, need 2 more. You're down to your last strike.
Protect. So go with easy names.
Would you think Bonds is one?
Bonds seems like a good pick here.
He has so many of them.
He has so many. He had to hit 15, right?
Or did he just keep getting walked when in the base?
Maybe he was just nobody ever talks about it. He was just a solo homer guy. Barry Bonds.
Evan was onto something there, getting walked with the bases loaded, because he is not on this list. Strike 3. I'll run through the names here. A-Rod, Lou Gehrig, Manny Ramirez, Eddie Murray, Willie McCovey, Robin Ventura, Jimmy Fox, Carlos Lee, El Caballo, Ted Williams. I've never heard of this guy. Maybe you all have. Hank Aaron.
I said, we went that was too late. We went too late on the 500 plus home run hitters.
Yeah.
Dave Kingman, Albert Pujols. Again, these names, no idea who they are. Babe Ruth.
Shut up.
Ken Griffey Jr.
He's on my shirt.
Yeah. Ryan Howard. And then, now this is a surprise. This will throw you all for a loop. Richie Sexson.
Wow.
15.
Look at that. All right, that was a really good question. That was a really.
We were too late to the 500 plus home run.
Yeah.
If you would have gave us 5 guesses, we would have gotten it.
Yeah.
Well,
Most
3
of them.
strikes.
Good stuff. Well, now we're to the final portion of today's episode, which is when we play Name That War. And that, if you've never seen this segment of the show, is when we pick a player from the past and we try to guess their baseball reference career war. Okay, and today's player of the past, well, guess what?
Ray Ordonez.
You know him, you love him. He is now a manager in MLB. And this man has not one, but 2 World Series rings that he probably polishes, I would, every Friday evening. His name is Craig Counsell. What is Craig Counsell's career war according to Baseball Reference?
Does he get a couple bonus points for his awkward stance?
Yeah, I think he did.
What did Counsell play? Did Counsell play like 10 years? I'll go 7.7.
Oh, that's a really good guess. I'm going to Price is Right you. I've had this number percolating in my head. 8. 8 is what I have. He might have played 10 years, maybe 11, maybe 12, but he was a bit player. He was a part-timer. I don't know if he ever got more than 350, 400 at-bats in a season. I could be way off on that, by the way. But the point stands, yeah, I think he's under double digits for his career war.
Well, Craig Counsell is an NLCS MVP, by the way. He played 16 years. His career slash line was 255, 342, 344, no power whatsoever. An OPS of 686, OPS plus of 79. But this man, boys, his career war is a fat 22.4.
What?
I just threw a changeup. I threw a changeup in Name That War, and it looked yummy.
I really underestimated him, although I was somewhat right. There weren't many years where he had like 500 or more at bats. There was a lot of like 300, 330 type numbers.
And yet, I mean, he was impressive, man.
Oh, man.
It's really that big year that he had in 2005 with a 5.5 WAR season, 726 OPS, 9 home runs. He had 26 stolen bags. I mean, good career. Great career, I would say.
Wow.
A unique career.
A unique career. Dude, you're a 2-time World Series champ. You have an NLCS MVP award. You're more than 20 WAR. You played 16 years in the league.
You know what? He was a better glove than I thought.
You know what? He might
base, shortstop, third.
The WAR to home run ratio may never be greater than Craig Counsell. 22 WAR in 42 homers. Who else can say that?
Not a lot of people.
That's wild.
Luis Castillo, maybe.
Yeah, maybe Juan Pierre.
He had one season where he hit north of 5 homers.
9, in 2005, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that was Name That War.
That was Evan, a good one. That was a really good one.
Thank you. Evan, why don't you tell the fine folks that listen and watch on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. People, it's for free, and you just help us. Come on. Just do that. That's just nice. It's just nice to hit that subscribe button.
It's respectful.
It's and hit that like. Well, you're right there. Where can people find your work, Evan?
Mostly on Twitter at Closky WTSP. That's CLOSKY. You can also go to 10tampabay.com. We got the Buccaneers and the Bolts full swing right now, and so we're hammering right through that, especially the Buccaneers, who, if they don't get something done in the next 4 weeks here, we could be fully onto the Lightning season. So USF also pushing to be bowl game eligible.
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to get 6 wins. So
For the first time since 2009, something like that, rather.
well, 19, I think. Was it 19 when Charlie Strong took them there?
Yeah, Willie Taggart, Charlie Strong. It's been so long. Charlie Strong has had like 5 jobs, or Willie Taggart has had like 5 jobs since the Bulls last made a bowl game.
Yeah. Charlie Strong really took that program down south. But yeah, so all that stuff is, and we got our show, The Blitz, every Sundays at 8:30 in the morning on 10 Tampa Bay. We have a very special guest coming up on November 12th. It has not been announced yet. I'll announce it here. We got Cameron Brate coming in.
Oh, good kid.
Tampa Bay legend. So we're going to hear kind of his insights and stuff. So that'll be a fun episode. That's coming up in 2 weeks. So, but I highly advise you watch, and Ro's cooking up some stuff fun as we got to get through this baseball off season until, well, it's not the off season yet. World Series still going on, but soon. They'll got to get to December and the winter meetings, and then, February will be here before we know it.
Can people watch the Blitz on YouTube?
They can. They can watch it on YouTube. They can watch it on your favorite streaming device app. It's on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. So, even if you don't want to, even if you can't DVR it, you don't live in our area, that's okay. You can watch it online.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
However you watch it, I'm sure Evan appreciates it for sure. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.